What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's doing well. Going to be drafting some NFL best ball teams, trying to build yet another winner today. Appreciate you folks being here. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. Coming in clear. Okay, there I am. Let me try this for a second. Am I coming in clear for you folks? Mr. Worldwide. Well, we called ourselves Mr. Worldwide because we're gonna be starting with some Pitbull drafts. Shout out Pitbull. The 10 entry max. Let's get it, dude. Let's get it. Yeah, I don't know what was going on there to start. Gotta get a new laptop. I'm a bit sunburnt, as you can maybe see, but that's okay. I was out in the sun too much. Those who subscribe to beatbestball.com dropped a new article last night breaking down a high stakes main event team I did, kind of talking about the contest, talking about my thoughts on my picks, why I made them. And we'll have going to crank out a ranking update in the morning. So make sure you read that. That's for paid subs. It's $100 a year. Let's see here. I think we should make our camera smaller. Pulled the 12 full. Pretty nice. Why is Noel dropping? He's talking about Jalen Noel, or Jalen Noel, I guess I should say, of the Texans. And the reason there is multifold. Number one, he was too expensive to begin. Is this still the case for folks? Let me know. I think I was having lag in the beginning, but I think it's coming in clear now. Actually, I can see my mouth lagging. How about now? I'm gonna leave the stream and come back. Hello. Ranking updates in the morning. Hey, appreciate you so much, Best Ball Meat Gazer, for hooking up. If you got hooked up with a membership from Mr. Meat Gazer, let us know. Matt did. Thanks, Meat Gazer. Thanks, Meat Gazer. Appreciate you folks. Disbanded Brotherhood comments a period on every single video. Oh, okay. Yeah, hope that fixed it. Never lucky, hashtag. Anyways, that was the first time anyone did that on my channel, by the way. Thank you, Meat Gazer. Starting a storm here. By the way, guys, I'm like 90 folks away from 7K subs. Help me out. Christian McCaffrey going at the 4 hole. Totally normal. This is a 10 entry limit contest that will be filled soon. So getting a unique combo, don't have to worry about the CMC teams at the back end of the draft. Makes sense to me. Cheers. Let's finish the Jalen Noel thoughts after I make my picks. Someone asked me, why is this player falling? And I'm going to finish those thoughts in a moment here. Yeah, I see no reason not to just rip Gene T and Brian Thomas. Gene T, not a guy I've been getting as much of, and I certainly don't want that to be the case, right? So why is Jalen Noel dropping? Well, number one, he was too highly ranked to begin. This is both because of price anchoring in the pre-draft best ball contest, where we thought he was going to get higher draft capital than he did, and he landed in a situation that's pretty muddy. Number two, I mean, like, I was much lower on Jalen Noel for rankings wise, and I'm assuming others were too. Like, it's just kind of hard if your rankings have any sort of projection system, right? Where it's like, I don't sit down and be like, oh, this quarterback's going to throw for these many yards, and this guy's going to have these many catches, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I think through like, okay, who's the wide receiver 1? Who's the wide receiver 2? Who's the wide receiver 3, etc. How many yards are they going to have? You know, what's a good season for them? What's etc. And to me, I'm projecting Christian Kirk as the wide receiver 3 for all/most of the year, or wide receiver 2/3, right? Like, I think Higgins and him are coin flipping, but Kirk should be the slot, right? And so that doesn't leave a ton of meat on the bone for Jalen Noel if he's just the clear 4. Now, we have seen tertiary targets of the Texans be good picks, right? We've seen Noah Brown have some good games a couple years ago when he was on the Texans, just some huge games with Stroud. So Noel's got that out, even if he is a tertiary target. He also has outs to obviously Kirk getting hurt, or simply being better than Kirk, or Jaden Higgins being bad. He's got outs to all of that. So I think it makes sense to mix Noel in. And then there's, of course, the falling knife theorem, where it's like, as players fall past their ADP, by the way, this is egregious ADP on Kyle Williams. People are like, oh, does someone know something I don't? So Jalen Noel coming in at an ADP of 177. I'm actually higher ranked on him. Don't really want to be, kind of. This is a pit bull. Thoughts on team structure, this type of contest? I mean, whatever structure you think is acceptable. I mix up my structure. So here I started RB wide receiver. We're going to see what we're doing with our next picks. Wow. Then this is a surprise. Kittle at the 3-4 turn. Let's do Cook and Big Mike. Why not? So a nice balanced start. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Some players that fit the scoring format. Am I worried that the Jags thought so low of Kirk they ditched him for a 7th round pick? Not really. You know, new coaching staff, etc. Maybe they just wanted to clear the cap space. So not really. Like, you know, am I hammering Christian Kirk? No. Do I draft Christian Kirk and see seasons where he's like a really good pick? Yes. You know, the format of the pit bull, people are asking. It's pretty nice. It's a 10 entry max. So especially if you're someone who's like looking to save your BBM entries, like myself, 2 out of 12, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, 156 person final. So reaching the playoffs quite valuable in this, because it goes 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5. 100K to first. If you reach the finals, you're guaranteed $500. Don't know what you're asking here with your second part, but we talked about ETN a lot with the Davis stream. Oh, Trevor Etienne. I'm sorry. I meant Travis Etienne. Trevor Etienne. I don't know. I've heard early reports have not been too glowing. I personally view Dowdle as the RB2. So Yeah, Tom, I'll probably get that up and running. Maybe once I reach 7,000 subs. Make sure you sub. Or you can just throw up the YouTube and listen there, you know? Do you think the sprint and marathon overlay this year? I mean, I don't know, Alex, because it is June 27th. And Underdog would probably start releasing some like pretty big promotions if they were. I personally am not too interested in either contest. I don't think I'll be drafting a lot of sprints or marathons. I'm going to get my total points fix on drafters where I can win 500K. And the sprint, I don't know. I'm not someone who's like, oh no, pods are bad. It needs to be a sprint to reward that focus. Like, I'll have a main event team where I get some sprint fixes. Let's do the double Saints thing. Why not? Make a condensed bet on the Saints where if the Saints are just a little bit better, like, if they're just the 24th best offense instead of the 32nd, you can really get paid off in a big way. Gotcha. A lot of people reached out about timestamp guy. Some people sent me logos. I got to check that. Appreciate you folks. If the finals pod was 9,000 instead of 500, I don't really like contests that have outrageously large final sizes because it doesn't even really feel like you have a sweat, I'm sitting in the big dog lobby. So if the big dog lobby fills, I will do the draft. And I'm assuming Mason is also sitting in the lobby. So pretty fun start here. 3 good running backs. Could stop at 4, could stop at 5. 3 good wide receivers. Yeah, and honestly, for best ball, you just need to have a good game, Alvin Kamara scores 30 week 15. Chris Olave scores 30 week 17. Boom. Your bet's been paid off in a big way. How do you approach single entry contests? For me, it's just another team, CBK. I think there is validity to forcing some unique teams a little bit. Just because so few people are going to do something unique in a single entry contest. What's up, Bobbert? Good vibes, Michael. Good vibes, man. Or maybe Tyler Shuck is better than we thought, or Spencer Rattler, or Kellen Moore, or whatever, In general, most offenses have some fantasy relevant guys. What are we going to do here? I think we'll take Baker just because. And I think we're going to do Mr. Mooney. No, let's do Ibuka. Why not? Pacheco's also tempting. You know what? No, we're going to do Pacheco. I have a lot of Pacheco on like the day the contest opened for BBM when he was going in the hundreds. I think he has clean outs to being a league winner. Obviously, I don't really need the running back for this team, but we're going to stop at 4. So, with me taking another early running back, semi-reaching on a quarterback, we're going to stop at 4. We're going to build like a modified hyper-fragile. Maybe 5. Maybe 5, you know. Are you correlating as much for week 17? Yeah, just as much for me personally. Still 156 people. That's basically the size of BBM2 when I won it. And my team was pretty heavily correlated. I haven't drafted him yet, Swarmy. But actually, I drafted him in the pre-draft contest. But yeah, he's definitely worth mixing in. I also would like to get some Trey Tucker. Well, hey, man, what if Kirk Cousins somehow landed there? It feels like the Kirk Cousins saga is not over, you know? He's just going to ride the bench on the Falcons all year? Is Matthew Golden this year's McConkey? Well, I think their quarterback's quite good. Lad McConkey was really, really good, so I don't know. I like taking him. I take Jaden Reed. I draft both a lot. I'm going to be betting on the Packers passing game. All right, dude. If we get that big dog to fill, we'll change our title. 6 more. Any big dogs out there? Seems like people generally like the chat overlay. It is a little annoying how when you're drafting the 12th hole, or like I don't think I can move the chat thing, you know? Like if I could put that chat overlay to the left side of my screen, it would just make too much sense for StreamYard, I guess. So clearly a pretty normal draft, actually. Obviously, I don't like Baker Mayfield more than Mahomes in a one-to-one aspect, but when you have Mike Evans, that's enough to break a tie. Wow, Brandon Ayuko's pick 103. Was hoping to get him on the wrap. Last I saw, he's in the Bahamas. Supposed to be some healing energy there, you know? I don't have that much Caleb this year. And it's because I'm just not getting enough of like Rome and DJ Moore. But I do take the cheaper Bears, so I either gotta just start taking some Caleb and backstacking or getting some more of those guys. Think we're just gonna rip 2 wideouts. And let's do Bateman instead of Luther this time. Keon is a no-brainer, especially with the Cook correlation. Fun pairing there. 2 pieces of elite offenses, Keon and Bateman. 2 pretty touchdown-dependent guys. Would think Luther Burden has a higher ceiling if everything comes together, but I think Keon and Bateman are good candidates to just like fall into a 7+ touchdown season. And, you know, Keon year 2, that could be a big leap. Bateman showed a lot at the end of the playoffs, too. So a team I quite like. Baker, Gene T, Cook, Kamara, Pacheco, Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Olave, Keon, Bateman. The reason for a 5th running back would be that, like, well, Alvin Kamara could be dust by the end of the season. Pacheco could be dust by the end of the season. So, like, just getting a body that could suit up by them. I've not drafted Shedeur at all. Good vibes, baby. I've done it once or twice, David. Lamar/Josh with Jaden. I've also done Josh with Lamar before I knew buys. Makes a lot of sense why your team sucks. Just kidding, man. Yeah, Josh, I don't think we're going to have any clarity on the Richardson Jones stuff at any point. So if that is the case where we're just not going to learn, Richardson gets shoulder surgery or whatever, then yes, I think he's always okay to take in the last round. He has a nice, it's basically drafting like a version of Justin Fields in the last round. So don't want to be jamming him, but I'm only drafting a Browns quarterback when I'm forced to. Like when the rooms just take any other quarterback with the pulse, I'll draft like Joe Flacco or something. Is this a joke? Yeah, I would think that Jones is not starting every game as well, but who knows? I can hear my girlfriend reacting to what I can only assume is Love Island. I've not seen it, but I know she likes the show. Trevor is a no-brainer with the Brian Thomas bet. Gives me a second quarterback that I can just stop at. And then we're going to take one of these tight ends. I think today we're going to do Tyler Warren. Not a guy I've been getting a lot of, but he does, of course, correlate with the Jags Colts game week 17. And I personally think he's like a better bet than the Downs and Pittmans of the world. Unless the Colts are just like a really good team, like I just kind of think Warren will get his. Reason why I don't get as much Warren is just I do prefer Kraft and Kincaid straight up. I prefer Loveland straight up. I prefer Njoku straight up, but obviously it's a pretty flat tier. And, Warren has a better chance than some of these guys of being viewed like a Brock Bowers. So I'm probably stopping at 2 with Baker and Trevor. If I'm so inclined, I could do like a Geno with Gene T. Whatever. I could do Shuck. Which, I mean, Shuck's not even a lock to start, which is tough, but does feel quite nice to get to bet on Loveland and Tyler Warren in the 11th and 12th rounds. And this is why, like this whole tier of guys, include Kelsey if you want. I wouldn't, but I would say every tight end on your screen right now, Jonnu, Goddard, Njoku, Ferg, Kraft, Kincaid, Loveland, Warren, Ingram, Andrews, like they're quite a strong bet to just have a better week than Bowers, Kittle, McBride when the money matters, So I don't know who it's going to be, but yeah, I would take this collection of players over these three. And I also would take like, 2 to 3 of these guys to match / outscore some of these players by themselves. So basically you can like replicate a second or third round pick through volume. And it's just like, just keep like these types of bets we used to make were like Tyler Higbee. Like we were taking like Tyler Higbee here. We were taking like Eric Ebron here. These guys all feel so much better than that to me. Kincaid, former first round pick. Loveland, Warren just went near top 10 or top 15 in the draft. Jonnu was a league winner last year. Njoku, just good every single year, right? Evan Ingram, the Joker role for the Broncos is the theory there. Kraft, potentially the number 1 target over there. Ferg, could have some touchdowns on the Cowboys. Goddard, contingent upside. Always been a solid bet. So, doesn't mean I never take Bowers, Kittle, McBride, but that's how I view it. So we're definitely going to do McMillan. And then let's do Leggett too. Just get some more wide receivers on the squad. Or do we do Pitts? Nah, we'll do Leggett. Yeah, and like one of the best cases for Kittle's, Bowers, McBride is several-fold. Number one, if you do land league winners at the other positions, well, these will help you separate further, right? Number two, obviously they're the best bets to be the actual tight end one. And tight end generally doesn't matter, but feels different this year. And then number three, if they have a low advance rate because of what I'm saying is true, that could actually be a feature of them, not a bug. AKA, it might be hard to advance these players just because of the opportunity costs on them and what you can get later. So having a low-owned Bowers, Kittle, McBride in the playoff weeks might be very, very valuable. Like I was one of the few McBride teams in Best Ball Mania finals last year, and that's a big reason why my team got like top 30 and really like was drawing live to win the contest if not for the Chase Brown not sliding down conundrum. Yeah, I don't know. Probably should not be the case. It's a little bit of like the trade rumors. I don't have enough Andrews, so it's not like I want him to be a smash, but the big thing for Andrews too is I believe he had like the tightrope surgery, car accident thing last year. Same thing Tony Pollard had tightrope wise. And so should be a full year removed from that. This is pretty true. Cincy, Arizona stacks in the 1 hole, Jags and Houston stacks in the 12 hole. Does seem to happen a lot, but it's not like I don't want to stack. When I take Brian Thomas, I want Trevor, If you think it's being overdone, how can you like fight that a little bit? Well, I think one of the best things to do is would be to take like Lamar, Jaden, Josh Allen, maybe like one of the elites, and then just getting a second quarterback very late, something like that. So probably doing 2 more tight ends. I was kind of hoping some of these tight ends would make it back to me. Pretty unlucky that none did. And I'm going to just scoop value at other parts in the draft. So Alec Pierce plays the Jags week 17. Downey Brown went too. Yes, he did. And then I like the Braylon Allen bet, past ADP. Don't think I needed another running back, but I think this makes sense. Last 2 picks could be probably just gonna do 2 tight ends because I feel good enough at quarterback, and I just don't feel like taking one of these guys right now. Definitely good enough at running back. At wide receiver, we have a couple strong players. We have a couple strong touchdown bets. We have 2 other guys who can score running routes ideally. And then we have Tyler Warren. So might as well just add, when you're taking 3 tight ends, the story you're kind of telling yourself is that you have more chances of landing a guy who will score touchdown when the money's won. So either in a playoff week or whatever. Would have definitely taken Cade Otton to pair with Baker, but went 1 pick before. Just a little unlucky that like this whole tight end run happened. Not too bothered by it though. It's not like these tight ends are like wildly worse bets than some of these guys. They just don't feel as comfy. That big dog is 9 out of 12. So I think that will fill. And I think we'll just kind of wait for it to fill. Get some water, hang out, whatever. I'll fire off a tweet for the people. 3 more for big dog on underdog. Streaming it when it goes. That's what I do for the people. This guy's username is chest. You think he's a big leg guy in the gym? This guy's username is Cutler for life. Let's see the bear stack. Wow. He loves the Bears so much that he won't draft Caleb. Or any bear. There have been several articles saying Jalen Coker could be cut, which is pretty wild to me. Look at these 20-second rooms, man. Draft is over in 33 minutes. All right, so here we're going to rip off 2 tight ends. Let's do Theo. Week 17 correlation against Gene T. And why not? Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz, an OG brand guy. I think you should do that if you want to do that. I've taken just barely, but I think it's an okay bet, Matt. So my team, Baker and Trevor, Gene T. Cook, Kamara, Pacheco, Braylon, Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Olave, Keon, Bateman, McMillan, Leggett, Pierce, Warren, Theo, Dalton, Schultz. I don't think he's drawing very live. I mean, we literally saw what happened last year when it was Tank Dell was hurt, Stephon Diggs got hurt, and Dalton Schultz did pretty much nothing besides Nico Collins. All right, we need 2 more for this big dog. I'm going to refill my water. Wow. We went for water and it filled. Snap filled. What do we got here? Hey, the 12 hole. Back-to-back 12 holes. Mr. Fantasy Flock. That's Mason. One of the biggest fantasy football accounts out there. This Vinny guy drafted like absolute garbage last time he was there. Interested to see what he does here. No offense, Vinny, if you hear this. Some of the other names I recognize too. Let's name that Pitbull, by the way. Should I name it? Like, help me come up with the best title, guys, to get clicks. Big Dog versus Fantasy Flock. Fantasy draft against the biggest fantasy fantasy football account out there. Come on, guys, I need help. That's rude, man. I gotta invite the flock to come on sometime. This draft is so good, it's going to be illegal next week. All right, here's some engagement. You ready? I am the champ. I'm not debating I'm the champ, and I think I'm one of the goats at best ball, but he's a goat at YouTube. Live versus at Fantasy Flock. Or is it Flock Fantasy? At Flock Fantasy. Don't ever ask that question again. No, just kidding. Should we just run it back? Let's do it. Let's do it. Amon-Ra, he's one of my guys, and I really do love the Week 17 matchup for Amon-Ra. So Brian Thomas, Amon-Ra, that is fun to me. GT Brian Thomas is fun. Achan's in mix. All these players are good, but why not? When you get back-to-back 12 holes, it's a sign. Yeah, I really love Amon-Ra's Week 17. $500 draft versus Fantasy Flock. And this will help. I don't have like enough GT in the smaller buy-in contest, so things like Best Ball Mania. So I like getting a share in a higher buy-in contest. I know, man. He's a brand guy of me, but we did it. We did it. Brian Thomas falls sometimes too, but I think that is incorrect. All right, I'm going to change the YouTube title right now. Let's change it to $500 Big Dog draft versus Fantasy Block. Parentheses, biggest FF YouTuber. Which I don't even know if it's true, but I think it is. All right, I changed it. I don't know if it updates for you guys. That's incorrect too. As a Raiders fan, I'm having a tough time seeing GT outscoring Henry, if he stays healthy. Well, I would say that if he stays healthy for Henry is a pretty big concern. He is quite old. And for Ginty, he's going to be playing in the pace up Raiders with Chip Kelly. Playoff schedule at Philly, not the best. At Houston, probably pretty nice. At Giants, could be the nuts. This is why I was drafting JT last year. At Giants, you needed that. I do think Henry's playoff schedule is quite nice if healthy. At Cincy, smash. New England, could be a smash. At Green Bay, feels pretty nice. So I don't know, man. It's just running backs like Ginty, they typically have pretty good rookie years. Keep your eyes on the 12 hole. Here. I've had good success streaming winners too. Oh yeah, no. The back half of the people will comment like, I can't believe I have so many picks on the back half, but like unquestionably, the back half is a stronger place to draft. Where it's like even Ladd, maybe AJ Brown, like even these guys are first rounds discussions. Is it Genty? Is the J silent? Is it Inty? I don't claim to be a pronunciation expert. Guys, hit the like button. I'm just going to end this stream if you don't like it. I need 5 likes. A little Brees love right now. How do we go in that next draft? We want Mike Evans and Cook. I've never tried to build the same team, but maybe we will. Thanks, guys. Some good energy in the chat. Josh Allen's tempted too. I don't have enough of like the elite quarterbacks. So would like to get some in some high stakes stuff. So we could go Cook and Mike. We could go Josh and Mike. Let's do Josh. We could do Josh and Cook. I think we're going to do Mike, though. Big Mike. So a different bill. Last time we did Cook. This one we did Josh. Elite quarterback, simply a better pick on a half-point PPR site because skill players don't score as many points due to the half-point scoring system. Good vibes, LFG. Make sure you're in the Discord. Link to join is below. I always notify that and tag when I go live. Click that notification bell. Click subscribe. Yes, little Dodger. I do want that. If you think that is you, hit me up on Twitter and say, hey, this is a little Dodger 24. Do I watch Love Island? I have not. I've seen some clips. My girlfriend's laughing at it, but not saying I won't, but I have not. Definitely think that's defensible, Grant. That's funny because I barely do any. I don't think I've made a short in 2 years. I don't know why it's not letting me highlight this comment. You're going to have a ranking update tomorrow for sure. No, I would never wait until training camp for a ranking update. No, going to wake up tomorrow and do it. It's when I do my best work in the morning. you can watch and display it on stream. Watch what? Watch my own TikToks? I'm 5'11". I'm closer to 6 feet. I don't know where this 5'8" nonsense is coming from. And I have like a 6'4", 6'5" wingspan. Lanky. Got to get our guy in one of these drafts. I mean, doesn't bother me at all, John. Wouldn't bother me if I'm short either. But I don't really know. Like, how do you look short when it's just a headshot? My camera angle is always pointing down. When you're saying this. What do we think, folks? How many people are doing this during a big dog? I am. Does that help at all? Chalk good in 20-round formats. Not my favorite in this. Dog, I am almost 33 years old. Of course I cannot dunk a basketball. Mixon has really not been a guy I draft so much, but I've been buying this dip on Mixon. And let's do James Conner is a guy I barely have any shares of either. Like I always get these wideouts. Trayvon Henderson's tempting too. Let's do Mixon. And then I'm going to shuffle these two guys. No, I'll just do Henderson. I don't know. I don't have a lot of Henderson, so I do want to get a share in a high stakes draft. So only 2 wide receivers. Hopefully this causes a panic. I do prefer Connor straight up over Henderson, but Henderson obviously has big time upside. I played rugby in college. So I cannot shoot at all, but I'm pretty good in the paint if someone is not like tall or skilled, you know? Like if someone could just shoot threes, it's game over for me. But I got decent post moves. That's like rather serious that Davis doesn't leave the house, but I don't know. Why double running back at turn? Thought I explained it somewhat, but it's because number one, I almost never do it. And I don't want I'm almost always taking Olave or Addison or Godwin. And I don't want every single draft forever being that. And number two, it's a falling value on Mixon. I do a high stakes draft and with this one username, and he takes Mixon every time at pick 40. So value compared to him. And then Henderson, I just wanted to get a share of this player. So basically mixing it up. And Mixon and Henderson, 2 players I don't draft that much. So I want to get some shares on a higher buy-in team. I might do this, Chris. We might do this if it's not filled. Those lobbies are crazy. We do have 2 rookie running backs. A bother to some, not to me, but so an elite quarterback. 3 running backs who should be good to great. 2 wide receivers that we feel good about. Look, I'm not a Mixon guy that much, but what's the alternative? Nick Chubb? You know, I can't build every single team the same. Got to mix it up. Yes, I think I will. Hopefully we'll just win the main event, folks. And I'll put best ball on the map if I do. If I run deep in the main, I'll be talking about best ball for sure. Mixon also was pretty good last year. Now the OC got fired / changed. All right, we're holding our breath. What a steal for us. We get Shakir. So in a high stakes lobby, I could see Ayuk falling more. So I'm going to take Mooney, I think. We're going to think about it. But Shakir is an absolute steal for our Josh Allen team. We thank the lobby for their service. Yeah, we'll do Mooney. I have a lot of Ayuk in other high stakes teams, so trust when I say we have financially bet on Ayuk. Some clean buys. Makes going Mixon and Henderson at the previous turn feel pretty good when I get Shakir and Mooney. Yes, I think I'm going to go out for like a week or so to go play some WSOP tournaments. So I won't be streaming then, except for with Davis. Or maybe I will. I don't know. I'll figure it out. And then I will, if I run deep in the main event, which is a couple weeks, then I would stay obviously longer. But when I bust the main, I'd probably come back. And I'm not teaching the children for the month of July. So should be doing a lot of writing, a lot of streams. I'm going to be writing out my plan is to write each day before I go to play any poker tournaments too. One grant. One making the finals would be a great amount. I made 2 last year. That is like way, way, way above expectation. I didn't release the math article this year for it, but you can read an old article I wrote about the math of BBM. And yeah, this was for last year's team, but on average, if you won 50 BBM, you'll make a team to the finals 11.7%. They kind of did this last year with like the Badge Bros contest or something. Hell yeah. Probably. I don't know. The latest WSOP controversy. So if you're not familiar, what happened was WPT has these free rolls where if you win them and then you win a WSOP bracelet, they'll give you $1 million. And so these 2 guys who are friends, they both made the final 2 of this bracelet event, the Millie Maker. First was $1 million, or first was 1.25 million. Second was $1 million. The guy in first had 90% of the chips and then proceeded to just like bet and fold all of his chips because he obviously made a handshake deal with the guy in second who had the free roll ticket to win the $1 million, that they would chop up that $1 million. And the other guy would get the bracelet, but who cares? It's for $1 million. And now people are like, oh, this is collusion. It's not collusion. if it didn't impact anyone else. You're only really robbing the WPT and you're making the WSOP look silly. So obviously these people should be paid. The WSOP is investigating it. Now, if they colluded against third place, that's kind of a different discussion, which either maybe they made a deal with third place and gave him money too, or I don't know. I mean, I've never really studied poker. I just play. The definition of collusion is if someone else is impacted. So it's not collusion in my opinion. Let's do Janu. And we'll do Bateman again, I think. Going Burden is tempting too, but I like Janu. So going Bo is fun too, I think. But I like these two bets. I got a lot of Janu, but I don't know how much Janu I have in higher stakes buy-ins. Bateman gives me a fifth wide receiver to feel good about. I got 3 running backs to feel good about. I got Josh Allen stacked up. So team's looking pretty good. Yeah, they were doing stuff like if one guy bet an odd, if the guy who had the chips and was trying to chip dump them had bet an odd amount, he didn't have it. And if you bet an even amount, he had a good hand. If you, for last year's Best Ball Mania, probably similar math for this year. If you drafted 150 teams, you can expect to have at least one team in the finals 11.7% of the times. So it's very hard to reach the finals. And this is why you should make teams that when you do reach the finals, you win the damn contest. And this is also why I don't really care about advancing more teams. Like, you know, some people will be like, oh, Liam has only advanced like, 20 teams, 25 teams, 30 teams in a given, like he doesn't advance a bunch of teams. Well, if you think about it, I'm playing so far above the rim, basketball term, like Michael Jordan, where I'm not even advancing that many teams, but I'm still smashing in best ball. And that is because just advancing a lot of teams is not how you win these contests. You can, but it's not really how it happens. We do not condone drafting and driving. This is what we call anecdotal evidence, Scorpion. Of course, you can have a game stack and it not work, right? Hey, man, you got to be arrogant because then people hate on you, and that's engagement, baby. Oh, my God. So fun team we have so far. We have an elite quarterback. We have, in my opinion, an elite tight end. We have 5 good wide receivers, I think, on a given week. We have 3 pretty good running backs. The point of game stacks is so that you raise your chances of having like an 85 to 90% outcome, where if week 17 one game does go off, so a player scores a touchdown, another player scores a touchdown, etc., 30 points for a couple players, you're going to need that to win. Kincaid, obvious pick for us. Looks like we did not get Trevor. And so I think we'll just figure out quarterback later. Because I do like Mims. Now, we already took Mims in a big dog. Not that that's prohibitive in itself. I think Tajay Spears is defensible too. Hollywood is also an option, but I kind of like the Mims bet. You know? Yeah, it's a little gadgety. It's a little deep thready, but he was pretty good at that stuff last year. Can non-stack teams win real money? Of course they can. It's just, it's kind of like saying, like, can you win a poker tournament shoving 9-3 offsuit? Like, of course you can. It's just not really the best odds, in my opinion. It's very nice. Yeah, if your quarterback is a rushing quarterback, so Justin Fields, like, so easy to get away with it. It is quite nice when you take Josh to get Shakir to wrap all the way around, which he doesn't always, and then to get Kincaid to pair with him. So probably going to stop at 2 tight ends with Jonnu and Kincaid and just take extra stabs at running back. I do not. I kind of like the Spears bet, and I like the Pollard bet too. You're really just saying the Titans are better than the market assumes. But I don't know. Should be. It's kind of tough to say. Remember, Spears has like meniscus issues, so he could go to 0 at any time. So I was kind of hoping Tua would wrap around. He didn't. Didn't get Penix either, who went to the London draft, of course. This Vinny guy drafted a way more normal team this time, by the way. Last time I was with him, he drafted a kind of wild card team. Haven't really been paying attention to the board at all. Let's see. This guy has 2 naked quarterbacks, Seth Green. That doesn't seem good to me. But I know the Sims do tell some people to do this. This guy just has May naked, which is fine. This guy's 2 stacked quarterbacks. This guy's naked Hurts, which is fine, and Stroud stacked. Mahomes stacked. Herbert with Najee. Purdy and Ayuk. Bo currently naked, which is fine. I think solo elite quarterback for weekly winners is like kind of how you should be doing it. Let's do Geno. And why not just add to the Bills thing? Although with Geno going Jack Beck is also tempting. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. If he's a 0, he's a 0. He went in the second round, though. It's like, how many wide receivers that went in the second round don't even get a shot? So Geno with GT and Jack feels pretty good. Beck is also a guy I've barely drafted in Best Ball Mania, so I do like having some high share teams exposures. And getting Geno with Josh feels pretty good, honestly. Like Geno's pretty undervalued where he's drawing very live to score similar to like the Trevor Strouds, Goffs even, Loves of the world. Let's see. This guy has Jaden naked and which is fine, and McCarthy stacked up. So most people drafting normal. Still could. Geno gets that Giants game week 17. At Philly, at Houston, home against the Giants. Which should be green on my sheet. That is a dome game. So I'm liking the squad. Josh Allen, Geno Smith, Ashton Jeanty, Joe Mixon, Travion Henderson, Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Khalil Shakir, Darnell Mooney, Rashad Bateman, Marvin Mims, Jack Beck, Jonnu Smith, Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, I mean, I would stop at 2 a lot with Purdy and Bo, but having a third feels fine too. People generally want to be doing 3 quarterback more for these higher buy-in contests for safety reasons. I'm obviously not doing 3 with Josh Allen. But I would sometimes do 3 with this duo. Not a lot, though. I would probably generally be doing 2. So let's see. 4 more picks left to make. Yeah, that's where I tend to side. So I think here we're just going to grab Shipley and Sanders. Could do like Justice Hill too for this like mini Ravens bet we've made, but Shipley plays the Bills week 17. Some people think A.J. Dillon's the RB2 there. I don't think that. And then, yeah, Miles Sanders, keep getting him in high stakes teams, but seems to be coin flipping to be the RB1 of the Cowboys. I think in other people's minds, it's more like, what if Purdy gets hurt and I only have one quarterback? 3-5-7-3 is an adjustment off of 3-6-8-3, where you just cut a running back and cut a wide receiver. So definitely a defensible build. It's not how I build most of my teams, but I do it on occasion. He seems like somewhat end of a tier. And, if not Bateman, it was Bateman, Burden, Kirk, or Hollywood or Mims for me. And, like, would I have taken Trey Harris over Bateman? Yes, I would have. Would I have taken Keon over Bateman? Yes, I would have. Would I have taken Shaheed over Bateman? Yes, I would have. But all of them were gone. And so, seems like a pretty good fit for half-point PPR too. Could argue that the Lamar team, he went Mark Andrews, so that's fine. He was probably trying to get both. All right, guys. We filled a DraftKings 555 too. We won this contest a couple years ago. Back when it's $250K to first, it's down $1 million to first. So we're going to do another high stakes draft after this. I was going to log off, but this guy keeps on posting. I rewatched your BBM final team from last year. You passed on Bucky and Chase. I was interstellar screaming through the bookcase. Man, tough. That team didn't do as well, though. We pulled the 2-hole for this team, by the way, which I'm not going to get Chase, but I'll queue him up. And our plan is to go Jefferson. Both CD and Jefferson's playoff schedule is very nice. I already did a Barkley team. I don't know how many 555s I'll do this year, so I want to spread the love. Yeah, that's not how I view that, but you're welcome to your opinion. So let's finish this one strong. Probably just going to do one running back and one wide receiver. Just with having 2 rookie running backs and some darts, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver. I no idea what that was. Oh, we're on the clock. Who are we doing for our running back? I think Hunt is not a guy I've drafted a lot, but I think he fits what we're trying to do here. And then, did this Dante Thornton guy go? Yeah, he did. Let's do Trey Tucker. Almost no one has drafted Trey Tucker. I'm sure of it, especially in the big dog. I mean, he barely gets drafted in any contest, let alone the big dog. So our big dog finished up Josh and Gino, Gene T, Mixon, Henderson, Shipley, Sanders, Kareem Hunt, Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Khalil Shakir, Darnell Mooney, Rashad Bateman, Marvin Mims, Jack Beck, Trey Tucker, John Smith, Dalton Kincaid. I feel good. Feel good about it. Running back room feels a little weird to me, but hey, if these 3 guys are good picks, not much else will matter. And then, folks, this was our last day teaching of the summer. So let's let the good vibes roll on this lovely Friday. Let's win both the big dog and this 555 for $1 million bucks. I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back. All right, folks. Like and subscribe. Pretty much nowhere else are you going to see a $500 big dog right into a 555 DraftKings. Format for this: 2 out of 12 advances, then 2 out of 8 advances in the semifinals, and then 1 out of 8 makes the finals. So that's kind of tough. Week 16. And then 52 people make the finals. So pretty big finals for a contest with, let me see how many people are in there. Almost 10,000 entrants this year, so they made it kind of big. So 52 people will be making 10K. If you make top 10, which is where the real money is, 40K, 50K, 75K, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 500,000, 11,000, and $200, and then $1 million. So they did a better job at not making this as top heavy as last year. Last year was egregious. It was like $1 million and then like 125, so on my big dog team, I like how it turned out. I like doing Trey Tucker with Jack Beck. It's like, who cares if Jack Beck sucks if Trey Tucker is giving me points? Wide receiver, we'll see. Tight end, I feel good about. It's not like team's not perfect, but I could see it working. We'll name this after this. No, we got time. 627 streamed versus block. Let's draft a winner. Vinny, dude. Welcome. Thanks for coming, a member. You had a good draft in that one, Vinny. I don't know about the one the other night, but I like that one. Don't winning teams have complete zeros sometimes? Of course, man. I had several zeros when I won Best Ball Mania too. Talking about special. All right, so these rooms have been very wild in the past. But this room seems more normal because the people who draft really wild and bad are not in this lobby from what I can tell. Yeah, I like Bucky a lot this year, so I'm very happy to get a high-stakes share of him. Really love the schedule for him of Atlanta, at Carolina, at Miami. Feels the nuts. Oh, yeah, this guy won Best Ball Mania last year. He's splashing. All right, what are we doing? This is always a tough spot to know what to do. There's a lot of viable things. We're just going to cold rip James Cook. Why? Well, I keep on getting big. For the 555s I do, I've gotten like top 5 picks in every single one. And Cook lives on this side of the board. So we're both making a unique combo. Pretty much no one will have the combo of Jefferson, Bucky, Cook. And I like Cook. Like his playoff schedule of at New England, at Cleveland, Philly. And I want to share Cook in these high stakes. Which contest? We won a lot, Sora. Just kidding. Vinny, dude, you quiet in the chat here? I maxed BBM when I won. I feel quite good about my rankings and whatnot right now, so I'm happy to get action in early in the season. If I could in these contests, I would draft the day the contests drop. I would, Fat Boy, I would assume no. Like, now, are other ranking providers peeping my rankings and then adjusting? I don't know. Sometimes suspicious movements, in my opinion, but whatever. But, obviously I have far less subs than the bigger ranking providers. Right? Like, a lot of people don't like Cook. I do. I don't really like Garrett Wilson. Others do, If you like Garrett Wilson or don't like Cook, but you agree with most of my rankings, that's okay too. We're going to the big dog, then the DraftKings 555, then Best Ball Mania. Byaw! I also drafted a lot of Dobbins. Yeah. Dobbins CLV was a gift I've given so far this year. Could be a bad pick, but we got the CLV. Jordan Mason CLV back in the big dog. Like, I had a very aggressive rank on him. And Roshan Johnson CLV. Roshan Johnson went undrafted in most big boards, which was 20 rounds. And I took him in nearly every single one. I really don't think Cook will rise that much once he's not holding out. He might hold in, but I don't think he's going to rise that much just because there's warts to his game. But, I mean, the man is just good in big spots. 28, 21, 30, 30, 22, 20, 31, 28 and a half. I don't know for Cooper. He's got to sign somewhere. Yes, John. If he signs somewhere like the Steelers, I think people will just be like, whatever. Hard to say, Logan. Maybe like 20% of the time. Something like that. Like, I obviously don't do this type of stuff every draft. Pure vibe math by me there, by the way. Quiet, John. We're not doing that again. You can. I'm not. Yeah, I think Jonnu wanted to get paid after being a good player last year. Kittle's been going earlier, I guess. Tyreek went pretty late in this one. Even if Keenan's a 0, he can't kill you, man. Any 0 is not the end of the draft. So running backs tend to go much higher in these high stakes ones. You can see this guy started 3 running backs and an elite quarterback. This team has 2 running backs. This team has 2 running backs. Oh, you're good, Vinny. Thanks for becoming a member. And good luck in that one. Oh, I wanted Hurts, but that wasn't my issue with the draft. I think you did something else funny. Oh, you took a third quarterback, Vinny. You took Joe Flacco when you already had Lamar and Hurts. That's what I thought was wild. Let's do JMO. JMO versus Jefferson, week 17 for all the money. Why did you do that? Why would you take Joe Flacco when you have Lamar and Hurts? Auto draft ? Kittle's climbing, I guess. I mean, it is logical, right? He's probably the best pick on the 49ers. Hey, we all have been there, Vinny. No worries. Good for the Sims, John. Good for the Sims. All the quarterbacks were gone by the time I was up here. Where I took Cook, I think you can also take the elite quarterbacks. Man, we just can't have Hunter in every single team we do. I think I'm going to take one of these running backs. Like Chuba, I like a lot. Let's do Chuba. giving us a nice trio of 3 running backs that I actually like, Irving, Cook, and Chuba. And that way I don't have to overpay for ones I don't like. Let the record show I wrote about 4 tight ends before people were talking about it. Yeah, I did a 5-5-5 the other day, and I think I had the 2 spot or 3 spot, and I took Gibbs there. I'd probably mix up the sites, Dodger, but I think it's also totally defensible just to play on one site. I would have done Smith if he was there. No. Like, the year I won the 5-5-5, I was ending a lot of drafts with, like, tight end, 17th through 20th. But there, the market was also giving you, like, legit starting tight ends in those rounds. So the market dynamics have changed through time. All right, I guess I'm going to have to do the timestamps myself. No one's messaged me with timestamps, but I'm going to fire them up and say $500 draft, 5-5-5 draft, whatever. Should I just delete the Pitbull portion of this video, guys? Do you think I should do that? I'm not going to. So typically wide receivers, like, they're going to be pretty plenty late. My pick is Conklin. So this guy's on auto draft. Let me move me. But you can see he's on auto draft. So that feels nice. We got this guy just ripping an auto draft team. When I was like first playing best ball, I think a lot of people didn't think it was like a beatable game or something like that. Like, it was all just random. And a lot of people would auto draft. All's forgiven, Vinny. All is forgiven. You like this one where you can just see my eye? This one's pretty good. Maybe we do this one. Big screen me. Godwin falls quite often in these drafts, but this guy's setting up the Tampa thing. Hey, you as well, Flock Fantasy. A good draft, sir. Good luck. We got a collab here soon. Maybe he was saying that to Vinny. Good point, Vinny. Oh, same joke. What? I look 5'10" with this angle? Okay. We want wideouts. Although the Harvey fall is quite tempting to just like rip them. YOLO. 4 running back. I think it's a defensible group to stop at 4. we're probably going to add a fifth, but yeah, you got to mix up your structures. I don't have many running back heavy teams, mainly because I've been drafting with teams that are absolutely like fiending over running backs. And then, so Addison. See, I already have a Jefferson team that also has Addison, so I'm going to pass on Addison, and I'm going to take Jaden Reed. Shakir is also tempting to do like the Cook and Shakir thing. Let's do that. Get some running back, wide receiver correlation there. See, a lot of people do this. This guy went Burrow with Chase Brown, absolutely sending Chris into a fit. Just kidding. I think I met Chris at like a DK Live final when Utical hired me to come out for the 50K best ball draft. Met a couple people there. It was a good time. We got third, so tough blow to us, but that's right, Benny. We just did that. It's a pretty flat range of players. Shakir, Diggs, Pearsall, etc. Jaden Reed. Love this guy just ripping Baker when this guy has a Mike Evans Godwin team. Ripping Baker ahead of ADP. God bless him. This is the 555 lobby, folks. This is what it is. He reached out. I knew him because he wins like every DFS contest. And he was like, hey, I'm going to do this 50K best ball. You want to help me draft it, and I'll give you a share of the team. And I said, let's 100% do it, brother. And then I sent him some money to buy an additional percentage of the team. And I think we got like a little unlucky with injuries, but it is what it is. Even more so in these lobbies, Paul. I don't hate Pearsall. Simply took Shakir. And this shows how the Harvey pick was like pretty good. Notice after Harvey, the next round, Judkins, Pacheco, Aaron Jones, Caleb Johnson, Tony Pollard, like the running backs are ripping off. Hoping to get some value to come around to us. And, you know, with Jefferson, he's Mr. Consistent. You're just kind of hoping he's hitting your lineup every single week. Definitely could see that for him. You see this guy's wanting to get his running backs now. Just double tap the pit guys. Yeah, it's a bum. Like Jaden Reed, I would pull here. You know, Scorpion, we're going to time you out for that loser comment. I don't think this is a scared money team at all. Don't even know what that means. But it's bad energy. Wait, I didn't mean to ban him. Oh, no. I banned him. I meant to put him in a timeout. Scorpion. I'm sorry. We're going to have to figure out how to unban him. I'm going to do it after the draft. Why do I always do this, man? I misclicked the button. We got bigger things to focus on right now. I don't think he deserved to be banned for that. It was light ribbing. This is the second time I've done this. And I'm going to need your guys' help to figure out how to undo it. It was an accident, though, Scorpion. Man. Tough run here on these guys. I didn't mean to. Control Z. Okay. Do we do a fifth running back? No, we're not doing that. I have a lot of Ayuk in the 5-5-5 already, but it's Groundhog Day, baby, because we're doing it again. Banned. Just kidding. Where's the scared money comment now? Huh? Just kidding. I think we're just going to rip Goff here. Why not? Okay, folks. Help me out here. How do we unban? I know we did this together last time. Yeah, you can't correlate. You can't correlate. It's too dangerous, right? This guy went Baker and then Cup over Ibuka. I don't want to draft him every single time, but no, I'm trying to do it right now. Help me, folks. How do we unban them? I know some of you guys did this. Settings. Come on, someone Google this. How to unban someone. I got focused on this draft. Your channel. Settings. We're a man of the people, dude. Privacy. Oh, community. I think this is what I do. Community. No. If I was that guy, I'd be like, geez, man. William's pretty sensitive. Settings, and then what? Should be in YouTube Studio, settings, community moderation. Okay, YouTube Studio, settings, community moderation. I'm there. Banned people. Creamy sauce. That name is staying banned. What was the guy's name I just banned? Help me, folks. What was his name? Scorpion. It's probably this sorry not sorry account, because there is no Scorpion that shows here. Like, these are people who I think have just commented like unhinged things on my YouTube comments, but I'm just gonna undo this one. All right, whatever. I tried. All right, let me look at this draft board. What happened since we took Goff? I think Goff was a good pick for us. Dak has gone. Purdy's gone. Caleb's gone. McCarthy has gone to the Addison drafter, so we're not going to get McCarthy. Hey, you're out, dude. We outed it. I tried to time you out for a bad vibe comment, not ban you. I don't think it's that easy, is it? Look what I took. I took the time in the 555 to do that for you, man. Rashid Shaheed goes. Only barely any wide receivers have gone. Would have clicked Shaheed. Keon goes. I think we're going to take Trey Harris here. Pretty much every single quarterback has gone, so I really have no idea what we're going to do there. And I don't even know what I could have done about it other than double tapping quarterback here. Pretty big fall for Jordan Mason, too. Pretty unlucky Keon goes as well. This guy could be watching my draft and be like, oh, he says he needs a wideout. Jordan Love goes, who I probably would have taken. T-Law. Nah, we'll figure it out later. I think I'm going to do Andrews. I have like no Andrews. This is past his ADP. Yes, he just ran really hot on touchdowns last year, but having no Andrews in the lower stakes, evening out here in the high stakes. So the team is Jefferson, J-Mo, Shakir, Ayuk, Trey Harris at wideout, Bucky Cook, Chuba, Harvey at running back, Goff at quarterback. Yeah, no, you guys can see that these drafts get a little off the rails. Like, literally every quarterback, I don't really know why, went much higher here. Hey, thanks for the super chat here. I think Shakir pairs nicely with an Ayuk, where like Shakir should be a pretty consistent guy for your wide receiver spot. And then Ayuk is a big swing of upside. Same thing with Trey Harris. I mean, not really. Could it go bad? Sure. But like, I'm pretty sure like they're the number one implied point total team. So PSA. By the way, folks, be sure to like and subscribe. Join my Discord. Link is below. This guy auto drafting is not even auto drafting a bad team. And honestly, he might not even be autoing. He might just be putting players in his queue. Because he has Caleb stacked with Romadunze. He has Bateman stacked with Lamar. So it's totally feasible. People do this. They go on auto draft, but they just have players in the queue. An underdog, I think, gets fine. Feels good to have these 4 expensive running backs with like a lot of running backs going off the boards now. I was never passing on Trey Harris for Love, but would have felt good to get Love too. I just needed the swing at elite wide receiver production, or at least weekly wide receiver production. Yeah, I would really like to get a 5-5-5 draft at the back half, but haven't been fortunate there yet. So this guy started with Amon-Ra and Ladd. He has Josh Allen and Kittle, and now he has 6 running backs and 2 tight ends. Interesting. Yay or nay, folks? A lot of these folks love to end their teams with like 9 wide receivers and take all their wide receivers late here. I don't like that as much, but I'm sure it's sim oriented. Don't think I've ever seen him talking. Okay. Well, let's do Kincaid. Don't think I have much in the 555, and he's a better pick on PPR sites. And a killer value. Okay, and I think this pick clearly has to be Bryce Young, who we have paired with Chuba. Was sweating this guy taking Bryce, but yeah, just need another quarterback because like 5 more quarterbacks are going to go here potentially. Bryce stack with Chuba, back stackable. Makes sense. I mean, like a good tight end room, Andrews and Kincaid, in my opinion. Goff and Bryce, I don't want to stop at 2, but at worst, it's 2 starters. We have 4 good running backs. Our wide receiver room is not the best in the world, but we have Jefferson, Shakir. These guys should be pretty consistent. JMO should give us some big weeks. Ayuk, please get healthy, brother. Trey Harris, nice swing upside. We're going to take a lot of wide receivers eventually. Probably like a 3.593. Notice that Thielen goes much higher in DK drafts, especially the 5.55. He goes 160 on underdog. Yeah, this has always happened on DraftKings. People want 3, so they start fighting over it, blah, blah, blah. So how I combat that is a lot of times I'll like hit 2 here. My God, no. A lot of these teams don't have stacked quarterbacks, and I mean, it's small field, so it's like the stacking's not required, but it's not logical to me. To them, it's probably like, well, you got to spread your bets. What if someone gets hurt? Stafford, a very key quarterback to get unstacked. Geno, unstacked. Dak, stacked. Stroud, stacked. Cam Ward, stacked. Baker, unstacked. Herbert, unstacked. Darnold, stacked. Hurts, stacked. Trevor, stacked. This guy drafts a lot. This guy drafts pretty normal. Burrow, stacked with Chase Brown. Kyler, stacked with McBride. Mahomes stacked. Fields, doesn't matter. Bo, stacked with Sutton. Love, unstacked. Or he's stacked with Jacobs. Yeah, this guy is not autoing. He's got Likely and Bateman stacked with Lamar. He's got a lot of wide receivers after going running backs. Like he has Rome and Jennings with Caleb, a week 17 stack. So like Get Going is a bummer. He goes late all the time. Would have loved him with Bryce. Wouldn't say I love this team as much, but I still think it's a good team. I've not gotten Josh Lamar or Jaden or Hurts yet in a 5-5-5, and I definitely want to get a team with some of these guys to combat some of this craziness with the quarterback market. Is Mafa clickable for you yet? He's clickable. I just haven't done it yet. I think we'll clearly do Josh Palmer. Wandale's awesome. I mean, Wandale's a good click on this format, and we do have Shakir and Kincaid. Let's do Wandale. He's a good pairing with Ayuk. Yeah, honestly, I should have taken Rodgers there. I should have done what this guy just did. But that's okay. So this is like the last of the tight ends. I also like these running backs. Whatever. I like Jalen Wright. I think I should have taken Rodgers here. It's fine, though. Hey, Bryce Young, just be good, man. Just be good. End of the year, pretty strong. Week 12 on. 16 points, 23, 14, 16, 27, 17, 36. Week 18, it doesn't count, but why is Wandale a good pairing with Ayuk? Well, Wandale should see a lot of targets and, have a bunch of weeks that are just hit your lineup, and Ayuk might be a 0 for a lot of the early season. So if Wandale gives you like a pretty decent floor to your starting team, and Ayuk will hopefully give you the ceiling weeks later in the season. Yeah, it's not hard to see Bryce having a good year for sure. I almost went Freiermuth straight up with this pick. I still don't think I would have gotten Rodgers then, but yeah, going Rodgers here, I just think it's like a good thing to do just to get a third quarterback. See, I'm not doing like the third quarterback when I have Lamar and Caleb. Jalen Wright's a guy I like a lot, and I just have gotten none in these high stakes as he's risen in price. So we're taking him as a 5th and final running back. Don't want to stream all of my thoughts. Trey Tucker goes in the 16th here. We just got him in the 18th in that big dog. Interesting. We're going to change the title again because we got to mention the 555. Tight end's pretty dry, but we feel good about our 2, so we're not too stressed about our 3rd. Yeah, I think we happily take Josh Palmer now, seeing as we almost took him in the last round. Yes, we already have Kincaid and Shakir, but you're kind of just hoping for a big week with Palmer, and he could have those. Feels like nice value. Like Palmer goes far ahead of Calvin Austin, Trey Tucker, Pop Douglas, Hopkins, on underdog. Not saying underdog's right, but that is what happens. Yeah, I like Diami Brown, so we're going to take him too. So the team so far, Justin Jefferson, Bucky Irving, James Cook. Actually, I had these 4 players, at least these 3 for sure together last year on a 5-5-5 team. Nearly made the playoffs. Jefferson, Bucky, James Cook, Jameson Williams, Chuba Hubbard, RJ Harvey, Khalil Shakir, Brandon Ayuk, Jared Goff, Trey Harris, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Bryce Young, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Wright, Josh Palmer, Diami Brown. So team feels pretty good. We are catching up at wide receiver, getting Wan'Dale, Palmer, and Brown. We got Ayuk for the mid to late season hammer. Jefferson, Jamo, Shakir, and Harris also holding it down. Goff and Young are quarterbacks. Might be our only quarterbacks. We'll see. Andrews and Kincaid forms a pretty good tight end duo as well. We also have Jalen Wright on the team. I do see that mentality that, and I get it somewhat, that Shakir feels a little overpriced. I also think it's like you can squint and say, like, isn't Shakir the Bills version of Zay Flowers? Isn't Shakir the Bills version of Rashee Rice? Where if he just scores some more touchdowns, the Bills throw the ball more this year, could be a really strong pick. So I want to be mixing them in, even though, like, when I think of ceiling, I do think some of these players, like, I think of guys like Reed, Golden, Pearsall, Diggs, like maybe a little bit more. And yeah, he's still a young player that could take a big step, Led the league in yards after catch last year. Actual playoff games, 6 for 7, 6 for 7. And he's obviously a better pick on PPR. Yeah, you just need to get some more touchdowns. I think Zay Flowers too. Like, what if Zay Flowers scores 10 touchdowns, He just hasn't had the touchdowns to date, but what if he does? Allen's rushing threat wouldn't make Khalil Shakir just be good at yards after catch. He's just legitimately good at yards after catch. He also bounces off guys. This is why you got timed out. I'm just kidding. He's wiry. God, man, that's unlucky. I almost took Dart here. I was really hoping Dart would make it back to me. He falls all the time in these. I think this is a good team to just rip Richardson on. Like, I could do Russ. I just don't want to. So close your eyes and play, my son. Doesn't even really matter if he's a 0. Like, in an ideal world, I was getting Dart. I was getting Theo Johnson. I was getting Slayton. Instead, we got Richardson. And we're going to pair him with Adonai Mitchell. If I had gotten Dart, I was thinking about also going Russ. But now I'm just going to live with the Richardson highs and lows. Don't really hate getting him on a high stakes team. I'm not going to be taking him a lot in like Best Ball Mania. And so it's like, look, if he's a smash, let's try to win the millie over here. If he's a 0, hopefully Goff and Bryce are good enough. Detroit's playoff schedule: Rams, Pitt, a gin game against Minnesota. Carolina's playoff schedule: Saints, very nice. Tampa, very nice. Seattle, very nice. Yeah, this would be called a good thing. If Shakir's getting schemed up easy targets, that's a good thing. So probably going to just end this one with a third tight end. The nice thing about AR is, at least for these summer months, he's not going to be drafted that much at all either. In an ideal world, Daniel Jones starts, sucks. They let Richardson finish the year. So I don't feel that thin at running back, stopping at 5. We had 3 running backs, averaged nearly 17 points. I take Keenan Allen here or there. These drafters just like him more than me. Let's see where he went. No, he went kind of late here. Oh my God, man. What a name. He must be watching the big dog. I mean, like, look, Richardson's going after like Tyler Shuck. You know, I've drafted more expensive zeros. I did the Trey Lance thing. You know, I did rookie year Justin Fields. I don't even remember who was keeping him off the field. Ouch. I was drafting a lot of him early. There's a lot of variance in these rooms. I would really only say I made one maybe error. And it could work out, like Wandale could be the guy who advances this team. The other thing that I could have done differently, I don't think it's an error, is I could have taken a quarterback where Ayuk went. Because I know how these lobbies behave. I know these freaks fall over themselves to just rip some quarterbacks. Okay, we're going to get a tight end here. Yeah, Higbee I like. Let's do Higbee. I understand Terrence Ferguson landed there, but in the real NFL playoffs, he went 10 targets for 7 catches and a touchdown. In the real NFL playoffs, he went 5 for 58. Seems pretty good to me. So the team: Jefferson, Bucky, Cook, Jamison Williams, Chuba Harvey, Shakir, Ayuk, Goff, Trey Harris, Andrews, Kincaid, Bryce Young, Wandale, Jalen Wright, Josh Palmer, De'Ami Brown, Richardson, Adonai Mitchell, Higbee. Some of you people may be wondering, why do you have 3 Bills pass catchers and not Josh Allen? Well, the quarterback's the least important part of the stack. Generally the most replaceable points. Josh Allen's a different kind of guy, but when you want Josh Allen, it's because he's rushing in touchdowns, not because he's throwing a ton. Generally, we also have Cook, who negatively leverages off of Josh. So, an ideal world, we get Cook and a pass catcher. Feel pretty good about the team. Running back room feels strong. Tight end room feels pretty strong to me. I like this. Nice. I like to get Andrew's share. Quarterback room does not feel awesome, but hopefully Goff and Bryce is just enough, and Richardson sticks it to the haters. Wide receiver room feels okay. I got 9 of them. Only need 3 a week in theory. Gonna have some flex coverage from these 4 running backs: Jefferson, Jameson, Shakir, Ayuk, Trey Harris, Wandale, Palmer, De'Ami Brown, Adonai Mitchell. Definitely a lot of bets I like in there. Yeah, I generally like to take pass catchers on high-scoring teams. Bills typically average around 30 points a game. Higbee, a cheeky little third tight end to maybe be a really good pick. So yeah, I like it overall. Appreciate you folks being here. Maybe I need to raise my chair. Be sure to like, subscribe. I'm going to have fresh rankings on the site for all formats that I offer at beatbestball.com. $100 a year, best deal in fantasy. Enjoy your Friday nights. Join the Discord. Peace out.